Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to the City of Fayetteville City Council meeting, March the 19th. Again, we are always pleased when citizens show up to show your interest in what the council is doing. We are a council that tries to be forward-thinking and progressive in our movement of the city. We are always glad to hear from the citizens tonight, as well as anytime you want to call and talk to our staff. Here in the city of Fayetteville, we have meeting protocols, and our protocol is essentially this. We conduct our meetings with civility and respect. We will open up with the word of prayer. After the word of prayer, we're going to ask you to stand and cite our Pledge of Allegiance. You do not have to participate in the prayer if you so choose not to, but we do ask that you would stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And then when we open up for open comments, we invite the citizens to come bring comments. Again, we ask that you would be respectful and civil. I'm sure that there are things that you're passionate about, but you do not need to raise your voice or be disrespectful to voice your opinion. So can we operate under those protocols tonight? I hope so. Officers are right back there, and they will ask you to leave, okay? So at this time, we've asked Councilman Joe Clark to give us our opening prayer. Then please stand and join us in citing the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh. Yeah, y'all can sit for now. May we pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us the opportunity to come together again in service to the citizens of Fayetteville. We ask for your continued blessings upon our city and our residents. Thank you for all the dedicated city staff and our first responders who ensure Fayetteville continues to be a place you bless daily. Bless the mayor and council so that we may continue to do what's right for our community. And in the blessed name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you. We have an agenda that has been prepared and approved for tonight's meeting. If you want a hard copy of the agenda, you can see our city clerk, Ms. Chelsea. She'll make sure you get a hard copy, but it's also displayed on the screen. Council members, at this time, what is your pleasure with the agenda that's been presented?
Move with the removal of item number 4 and tabling of items number 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any unreadiness? Seeing and hearing none? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. This item is the approval of the minutes of the February 19th, 2026 City Council regular meeting. What is your pleasure, council members?
Move to approve.
Properly moved and second. Any unreadiness? Call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. And the approval of the minutes of the March 5th, 2020 City Council work session. What is your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Second.
Properly moved and second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we always are proud to do recognitions and presentations. Our staff is a tremendous staff throughout the city. At this time, we're going to ask the department heads or the department chief to come forward and recognize our new employees and any employee promotions. This time, Police Department, our Police Chief, Robert Mask.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening, Chief.
Fellow directors, passing the torch to the majors and letting them do their presentations for the people who work for them. So,
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
We appreciate you guys always being welcoming for ours to come over and recognize members of our agency as well as the other fine staff throughout the city. George Bach, can you join me up here, Mr. Officer Boggs joined the Fayetteville Police Department in October of 2016 after beginning his law enforcement career in 2011. Officer Boggs has served as a field training officer with our agency since 2015 and holds his post-intermediate and advanced certifications. He's a graduate of Columbus State University with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. He's amassed over 1,500 hours of specialized training throughout his career. Today, we're celebrating Officer Boggs on his promotion to the rank of corporal with the City of Fayetteville Police Department.
Congratulations, sir.
Major Myers, what we'd like to do is, as you get them all, just keep them standing by, so we'll come down one time and take pictures.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
Not only do we want to recognize our two-legged officers, but we also want to recognize our four-legged officers as well. If you look at the monitors, we're going to recognize two of our K-9 officers, first being K-9 Max. Max joined the agency back in June of 2017 and finished up his tour of duty in December of 2024. Max was handled by Sergeant Cox, who is here behind me. His end of watch was August 4th, 2025. He was also assigned with the Homeland Security Task Force, as well as our patrol division here at the police department. These are his stats. He seized over 2,000 pounds of marijuana, over 200 kilograms of methamphetamine, 4 ounces of cocaine, 20 kilograms of fentanyl, seized over $1.5 million in currency, and had over 230 arrests. Max has decided that he wanted to go see our Lord and Savior. He is no longer with us, but we do want to recognize him for his tremendous service to the city of Fayetteville. The next K-9 is K-9 Baco. Baco was here from March of 2019 to January of 26. His stats, he was handled by Detective Jason Scarborough. His stats, he seized 15 ounces of marijuana, 21 grams of methamphetamine, 1.8 grams of cocaine, a little over 6 grams of fentanyl/heroin. He had 163 arrests. He assisted in different agencies, outside agencies, 21 of them. He had 15 or so tracks, 8 apprehensions, and he was called to service over 400 times. We want to recognize K-9 Max, to Sergeant Cox, with this flag. We also have a shadow box coming. We're still trying to get the final workings on that, so that's coming. Okay? No problem. And then for K-9 Baco, he's handled by Detective Jason Scarborough. We want to just recognize Jason and Baco, and the same thing goes for you. We have a shadow box. As soon as it's ready, we go and get you. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Mayor and Mayor and Council. It's true, though. I appreciate it. I want to introduce one of our newest members, another four-legged officer, K-9 Dinah. We're buddies. I got to go with Officer Fox to pick her up from St. Augustine. But she's an explosive detection dog, and she will be, as you see with Officer Fox, assigned to our school resource program. So she will be very active in that role as a means of both connecting with the students, but also proactive measures because she can detect explosives, including firearms components, right, within the schools, and then also have the ability to respond to calls, other threats. And we're very excited to have her working with Officer Fox. And she and Officer Fox will be going to Savannah for her official certification at the end of this month. So we're looking forward to that. And she's one of the newest but most loved members of the department. All right, Ms. Kashayla. She acts like she's shy. I would like to introduce Ms. Kashayla Thorpe. She is our newest two-legged officer, or employee. She comes from us, or to us from South Georgia, as our accreditation manager. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience. She's very highly thought of in her niche. She just came back from a conference in Arizona where she didn't realize how popular she was, and she assisted other agencies because of how highly she's thought of. So she's already been very integral in helping us review our policy, making sure we're in compliance with our national and state accreditation standards. She's been a blessing to us, so we're very excited to have her. Ms. Kashayla.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. They could stand by for a few minutes. We'll come down when we get the rest of the new employees introduced. Main Street, our Economic Development Director, Ms. Lori Funderwhite.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
I'm excited to introduce you formally tonight to our new employee in the Main Street program in the Economic Development Department, Whitney Edenfield. Whitney joins us she's been with us for about a month now. She worked for several years on the Atlanta Food and Wine Festival. She had a couple of small businesses. She's born and raised in Georgia, and she and her family have been in Fayetteville for the last couple of years. We're really excited to have her join our team in Main Street and work alongside reporting to Caitlin on that program and working on all the great community events that we plan here in Fayetteville. So with that, I'll introduce you to Whitney. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, our Public Service Director, Mr. Cajun Rhodes.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It is my pleasure tonight to introduce you to our newest Facilities Maintenance Supervisor, Chevelle Johnson. He comes to us from the city of Douglasville. He spent a long time with the city of Atlanta as well, and we're super excited to have him. He's going to be helping us with asset management of all of our heavy equipment throughout the city, HVAC units, things of that nature. And he's already hit the ground running. He's making a huge impact, and he's taking a huge load off of my shoulders in the short amount of time he's been here. And so we're very grateful to have him tonight.
Council members, can we come from the dais and greet our new staff members? Ladies and gentlemen, we realize that this has taken a little bit of time, but we wanted to acknowledge the fact we've got some stellar employees here in the city of Fayetteville, and especially with the new employees coming on board. We want them to have the opportunity to be recognized, not only by the council, but by some of the citizens. And so thank you all so much for your indulgence. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on to public hearings, and we'll move straight to public hearing number 9. Consider ordinance 26014, fiscal year 26, mid-year budget amendment for 2017 SPLOST and the 2023 SPLOST fund, presented by our Director of Finance, Mr. Michael Bush.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening, sir.
We're here tonight to talk about the two SPLOST programs we currently have ongoing, I guess. The 2017 program, we collected taxes until 2023, and then in 2023, we started collecting the 2023 SPLOST taxes. So tonight, we're here these are both called project-linked budgets. They both are the length of the time that they're active, and both of these are still active. But every now and then, we have some interest earnings on the money we have in the bank, and we have to adjust the budget upwards for those interest earnings. And the Fund 2023 SPLOST, that's exactly what we're doing. We're here to increase the budget from $40,839,000 by $135,499. That's all interest income to $40,974,898. And I will tell you, we are still on track to hit that number. The other program, the 2017 SPLOST program, we have a current budget of $31,967,000. We are asking to increase that budget by $157,551. Again, interest income, to take it to a total of $32,125,434. In the SPLOST 2023 program, this is a 72-month program. The 72nd month will be June of 2029. And like I said, this budget is on track to make that number. This is the 2017 SPLOST. I know these numbers are so small you can't hardly see them. But the grayed out projects, there are 18 projects on this piece of paper. The grayed out projects, there are 26 projects. 16 of them are completely finished. Those are the grayed out ones. There are 5 white ones. Those are still active projects, and there's one project that has been delayed to the next program. So we're going to go through those real quick. The first project was the retirement of debt. The city had a budget of $1.5 million. We were able to retire $1,630,000 worth of debt. We did a budget amendment of $130,000 a few years ago, and that program has been completed. The next 3 programs are all public safety programs for the police department, where we bought 18 police cars. We bought 1 CIS van and equipment to go in that van. And when that van pulls up, there's lights, generators. I mean, it has everything it needs in it to be a mobile CIS lab, so to speak. Also in public safety, we have the fire department, where we bought 5 trucks. We have another truck, a QRV truck, a $600,000 truck that we've yet to spend any money on. We've yet to release the fire department to purchase that vehicle. And then the other one is part of the debt service that we have left to pay on those trucks that we currently bought. Then there's the Fire Station 93. One of the main reasons we're doing this budget amendment tonight is we currently have a budget of $1 million in this SPLOST program for that fire station. We are taking all the money that's left on any of these projects that still has any money left, and we are moving it all to this fire station project. So we're moving roughly $3 million into this fire station to give us $3.7 million to finish this project. We originally had a quote of like 9.6 million, and then we increased that to $11 million to build in for the extra garage space, I guess is what you would call it, for that, for some new engines out at Fire Station 93. So that's why we're asking to do some shifting around of these funds to basically make it so we can finish that
Mike, that's just for future growth.
future growth, yeah. Also with Public Works, we originally in SPLOST 2017 came up with a list of roads that we wanted to resurface. We limited it to a certain number of roads, and we paved all those roads in the first 2 years of the program. So in 2023, we listed every road that we got so that we can make sure that we can, continue to pave throughout the entire program. And then you have the water and sewer program. Originally put in $8 million into this SPLOST program for the increase in the sewer plant we've got down there. We are currently, we have about $2.4 million, about $1.5 million left in this program. It is currently paying the debt service on that improvements we made to the station down there, or to the treatment plant down there. And this money will pay out in the next 2 years. We'll be done with this project in the next 2 years. And then the next was recreation, where we bought some green space. The park down here was purchased by this program. And then in engineering and development, we put some money in for the bridge that's out there at the hospital. Originally, it was $600,000. We wound up going to $812,000. There was $75,000 put in for trails, for plans for trails. We spent that money. There was $75,000 put in for landscape improvements, Highway 85 corridor landscape improvements. We spent like $2,000, $2,500 there. We got $72,000 more to go. And then the last one is the downtown road network. We put in $500,000. We spent $227,000 with $272,000 left. So currently we have those 5 projects we just mentioned. There's the $600,000 truck. There's the $3.7 million fire station. There's that $72,000 in landscaping, the $272,000 in downtown master plan, and then the wastewater treatment plant with $1.5 million, for a total of $6,254,000 that is yet to be spent. This program, we want this program to end before 2029, because in 2029 we will be coming up for a new SPLOST program, and we want to basically close one and then open one so we can maintain that. The other project, the one that is moving from the 2017 program to the 2023 program, is there's a roundabout at Brahma Road. $1.2 million was the original estimate of that. $1.2 million won't touch that right now, so we decided to move that money around and then bring that back on the next SPLOST program. That's about all there is. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Council members, you have a question for Mr. Bush on this item? Hearing none, are there any citizens who have any questions on this item?
Like, for clarity too, these SPLOST projects are on our website, correct?
They are. Yes.
So the citizens can track and see, how money is coming in from the various SPLOST programs and how they're being moved around in the justification form.
We update this every month and on that website.
And again, as you've heard tonight, Mr. Bush and the financial staff has been doing a very good job making sure that we have available funds to carry out the major projects, and where there's a need to shift money, we're able to do that. So, thank you. Any other questions? None from the citizens? Council members, what is your pleasure?
Move to approve ordinance number 26-0-14.
Properly moved and second. Any unreadiness? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposers, nay. Thank you, Michael. Moving on to item number 10, ordinance number 015, request to rezone 155 North Davis Drive for the Pregnancy Resource Center from DMU BC Downtown Mixed Use Boulevard Commercial to DMU MUC Downtown Mixed Use Core, presented by our senior planner, Ms. Marissa Jackson.
Good evening.
Evening.
The Pregnancy Resource Center is a business located on Highway 54 East Linear Avenue. They are planning an expansion to include the rear of this parcel 155 North Jeff Davis Drive. To facilitate the expansion, the applicant is subdividing out the house fronting North Jeff Davis here. So this front of it is being subdivided out, and combining the rear of that parcel with the existing business here. Both parcels must have the same zoning for them to be combined, and therefore the applicant is proposing a rezoning of the north parcel from downtown mixed-use Boulevard Commercial to downtown mixed-use core. We should note that before the zoning code was updated and the zoning map was updated, the parcel where Pregnancy Resource Center is and the north parcel were zoned C2, and then this additional parcel even farther north of that here was zoned R30, and a 50-foot buffer was required. However, when the map and the ordinance were updated and everything became downtown mixed use, that requirement for the buffer was removed and is no longer part of the ordinance. This is a proposed site plan that was approved by the Planning Commission in December. It was approved with 4 conditions that still stand. One is that the parcel 155 North Jeff Davis would be rezoned to be combined with the existing parcel where Pregnancy Resources Center is. That staff would receive an updated site plan with updated site setbacks. That bicycle parking would be provided and included. And also that any future plans for the house fronting North Jeff Davis would come back to the Planning and Zoning Commission for review. So as you can see, this is a long parcel here. This existing house here is being subdivided, so it won't be part of this parcel anymore. And then this north parcel and this parcel will be combined for the Pregnancy Resource Center expansion. This is an aerial view of the site. This is the existing home. This wooded area is where the expansion would be. And then you can see that there is also a interparcel access here that is not shown on the concept plan that was presented to the Planning Commission. After the Planning Commission meeting, where we talked about this rezoning last month, staff received a update or a proposed site plan from an adjacent property owner. It shows that the existing interparcel access here is maintained. It's suggesting that the detention pond is moved to the west side so that the detention can be shared with adjacent property owners, and also to buffer between the proposed future expansion and some of the residential homes to the north. And these are the elevations that were approved by the Planning Commission already. It's cement sidings, and it has a stone water table. The proposal does align with some of our community goals in our strategic plan, like providing services to the community and encouraging desirable investment. And the Planning Commission did request that the rezoning is forwarded to the City Council with a favorable recommendation. Since the Planning Commission meeting, staff has added 3 additional conditions to the staff recommendation. The first condition is just that the interparcel access between the existing Pregnancy Resource Center building and the adjacent parcel remain. It's that we're asking that the applicant collaborate with adjacent property owners to consider what a stormwater detention, shared detention might look like in the future, and also to explore what continued shared parking might look like. And also, we're requesting that there is a 25-foot buffer at the north of the expansion between where the expansion is and the residential home. In the previous zoning between the C2 and the R30, a 50-foot buffer would have been required. As I mentioned earlier, that's no longer part of the code that we have. So staff is maybe suggesting to split the difference and have a 25-foot buffer. And I'm open to any question.
Marissa, is that a planted buffer
Yes.
that's being recommended? Okay. Other council members?
Marissa, could you go back to the picture of the land?
The site plan?
Yeah, site plan. Yeah, I'm just want to be sure where the buffer is actually going to be placed, the
Yeah.
25-foot buffer.
So it would be north here.
Okay,
That's where the buffer would be.
all right, and then you also have the retention pond as well to help separate.
Well,
Not,
and this is the plan that we got from the applicant. And the residential parcel we're concerned about is right here. And so the retention pond currently is here in the east part of the parcel. One of the adjacent property owners was suggesting that we switch the future proposed expansion that's coming at a later date, and the retention pond, so that the retention pond would add some more space. It wouldn't be a built area, but it would still be a disturbed area. So the retention pond isn't on that side on the original plan, but on the recommended plan we got from an adjacent property owner, it would be.
But the adjacent property owner is satisfied with the 25-foot buffer.
We haven't confirmed that.
Other council members?
Yes, for the retention pond, I know that talk about moving it from one side to the other. With the new location, would that also satisfy the needs of the owner of the L-shaped piece that's on there as well? Or would it have to be expanded further later on?
We haven't confirmed that either. We haven't received a proposal from the property owner of the L-shaped parcel to know exactly what they're building and what their retention needs would be. So it could change depending on what they plan to build there.
But Marissa, wouldn't that require it to come back to the council? Because they're making significant changes, if they do make significant changes other than what is presented.
Well, it'll come back to the council if it's a special use permit or if it's a rezoning. But if they're not changing the zoning and it's something that's allowed outright, the concept plan would go to the planning commission for review, and then staff would receive development plans after that.
Basically, it's collaborating. We're just asking for collaboration because the engineering plans could change how that detention pond location will be at the end of the day. So we're asking for collaboration.
And that's the case in all the zonings you approve. You're approving the land use, the actual layout, the design, where things like the retention ponds and stuff like that, that always happens at the engineering stage at staff level.
My concern was just that, we're looking at a plan now, and then they come back and they say, hey, we want to put the detention pond back where we originally thought it was.
Yeah, but that's not, Mayor, that's not going to change any dynamics, I think, for what your point of view. I think it still provides the buffer. We're still asking the applicant to provide a buffer for the residential neighborhood, or the resident next door.
Any other questions from council? Any questions from any of the citizens on this? Yes, sir, please come up.
Please state your name and your address, please.
Hey, Jesse Brooks, 730 Becky Court. I don't have any specific questions. I just wanted to comment. I know I've driven down Stevens Avenue, and I think the historical house they're talking about is at the very end of the street. I think it's about 100 years old or more. Last time I saw it, I think it's kind of in a state of disrepair. I would just, whoever's building as they go through clearing and developing and grading and things like that, to take kind of caution, because it seems like it wouldn't take much to knock it over, if I'm remembering correctly. So just wanted to add that for what it's worth.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, sir, you have something? Trying to use my gift of discernment. You look like you want to move. But that is the applicant, okay? Sir, would you like to comment?
Yes, we're the applicant. I'm Roger Fisher with Fisher Island Group, representing FPRC. I just wanted to start off and acknowledge that we've been going through this project for almost 3 months, and we're ready to move forward. FPRC would love to get this going, and hopefully you all will approve this rezoning. We're not super happy about the conditions. These came about in the last week. I did not even, and it's not even on the information that I was sent. Number 3 was not even, I did not even receive it. So we're a little bit confused on the whole process. We got the recommendation for 1 and 2, and we're a little bit confused in the process. Number 1, the recommendation for the cross easement and the curb cut. FPRC and the landowner to the west, which is the neighbor, signed a very low-key letter that said they would be willing to talk about that easement. Since that time, they signed an agreement for about a year to use the cross, that little easement, for additional parking. That parking was terminated in December of '25. Okay, and it's acknowledged by the owner next door and FPRC, and FPRC had voted to basically close that easement. And I guess the owner next door went to the city and spoke to you guys, and we were not aware of any of this was coming until this last week. So we would like the rezoning to be done without any of the conditions if possible. I know that the site plan or the detention pond, and it states that it encourages us, I don't think there's any legal ramifications. It says encourages us to work with the owner. I did want to note that we have already engaged in an engineer in preliminary. He's already located this in the location that's best determined. That's the low spot. When you do a detention pond, you want it to gravity feed into that area. What the city is asking us is to move that to the center, to a higher location, causing more money for my client. Doesn't make sense. We had actually engaged, we talked to the owner to the north that had a problem with the buffer, and I understand that. We engaged with that owner and said, hey, we have no intention, FPRC has no intention of building on that possible future site for at least a decade. So that's a heavily wooded area. So what the city's asking us to do is to work with the owner next door, basically take all those trees down and put a pond. You can't put a detention pond without it being cleared. So one of the owners, either the owner to the north or to the south, somebody's not going to be happy. And I think we were trying to satisfy, the city was trying to satisfy both homeowners. And that, we like to try to work with the community as well. But especially this detention pond does not make sense in any regard. It costs more money. It's going to take many trees down. It's going to cause a less of a buffer for the landowner to the north. And there's nothing's been given to FPRC as far as their intentions. How do we work with them on a detention pond? This is their property. And there is no communication from the owner. What's he doing? How do we proceed? We've got an engineer engaged, and he's ready to go if you guys approve it. So,
Just a recommendation, it's not a permanent condition, we're just asking.
right,
When you do lots downtown, sometimes you have a number of lots that are getting designed or developed. You want to use like a regional pond sometimes. That's all we're asking, make sure you have that. We're not saying it had to go in the middle. I don't think that was staff's intent, is just provide that buffer, I think was the discussion, but you're saying they have to clear trees, so that doesn't sound like it would be a good idea.
right. Well, and my point is if this was someone that was concerned about maybe working together, they should have come forward, and instead of, they showed up at the last council meeting. We've been working on this for 3 months, and then bam, we want to try to work with somebody. This will slow their process down, and we don't want any encumbrance on our moving forward. That's going to cost them potentially money to even just re-examining the whole situation would be a kind of a financial.
I mean, we always promote interparcel connectivity.
Yeah.
That's something we always do.
Let me ask this question for the city attorney. Would it be prudent at this time to table this item and let them work it out with the staff and the other owner of the property adjacent that's causing?
I would suggest that if you are not ready to approve the zoning for whatever reason, that you table it. Right. I mean, I think if you have questions that you need to resolve in order for you to make your decision, table it. If the questions are simply those of the applicant, ultimately you're the zoning authority, and I'm going to say it very bluntly, and I don't mean it as harsh as it sounds. From my perspective, whether the applicant wants it or not is not the issue. The issue is whether mayor and council want it. So if you think these conditions are appropriate and you've heard enough to make a decision, then I would suggest impose the conditions. If you have questions that you need answered, then I would suggest table. I hope that makes sense. So.
Absolutely. Is the resident who's adjacent objected initially to the location of the buffer here tonight? Yes, sir. Would you like to make some comments about your perspective on this?
My wife and I bought this house about 50 years ago, and it was R30, and realizing that the existing buffer, which I believe was 35 feet at the time, we erected our own buffer, and it's probably about a 15-foot Alley Agnes. If you're familiar with that, nobody goes through Alley Agnes. The reason that we're objecting is because when the adjacent property, 155, was rezoned commercial, we could not ask for a buffer because a buffer would have put it in the middle of their living room. So we allowed the buffer to be on our side. And we erected more Alley Agnes, red tips and everything, and we've been happy with that all these years. When this property was rezoned, I had no idea about it. I didn't have a chance to appeal, and I didn't have a chance to even consult an attorney. It was just, when this came up, oh, you don't have a buffer. And I'm not interested in a 50-foot or 25-foot. All I would like was about 10 feet of vegetation. What the original site plan showed cars pulling into my backyard, which is our sanctity, and headlights, noise, and everything. And what we wanted was not have cars there. And I don't expect a 25-foot buffer would really inconvenience him, but we don't need that much. I just want opacity. As far as it would make common sense to put the retention pond at a lower elevation, and that hasn't been a problem. But what we want is not to have it cleared. And like I say, we couldn't do anything by building our own buffer. It's too late now. And one of the things I'd like to have my property go back to R30. And when I'm 85 and I'm gone, they can make it commercial, heavy-duty industrial. You know. So all I ask is R30 and maybe a 10-foot buffer with vegetation, not 3-foot trees. So that's about it.
Are there trees there right now?
Pardon?
So we,
Yes, you can see there, it's total.
Is there anyone else who wish to speak on this item? I'll bring it back to the, okay.
I do have a question. So with the northern buffer, there's a way that you can keep that trees.
Yes, and I was talking with our client here, FPRC. I don't think they have any problem with the 25-foot buffer. There's trees that we can leave along there, and that's heavily wooded, so I don't have any problem with the 25-foot buffer. Like I said before, that possible area of future expansion, they have no intentions of using that for years. So you're basically going to have about an 88-foot buffer unless we do move the pond over. And that's kind of where I'm going with it. It really, if we could just keep it where the pond is now and have a 25-foot buffer, and the easement is something obviously the business that they are in. Privacy is a very big factor, and they want to try to control who comes in and out of that. Just for the nature of the business, very different than most businesses, and that I think is another good reason to not have crossing between the two properties. It keeps who goes into that unit, and then the owner to the west has a curb cut already. I'm not sure why they're trying to get that. That curb cut is right there next to the service station, so it's almost a square peg through a round hole kind of thing. It would just make things simple to come in and out of theirs, keep the pond where it is, and then the gentleman has his buffer to the north.
Thank you so much.
I do have a question. I don't know if this is for the applicant or for our city manager, but I know currently you don't have a retention pond, and this may be my ignorance. Why is a retention pond needed now when it wasn't?
They do have the detention pond. If you look at the building, well, you can see it right there. That's the detention pond.
Okay.
We would actually, the new facility, we would have to move the pond, put the building where the old pond is, and then build a new pond in that location, which is the low spot, which is natural. Everything flows back there. You're working against the grain to put it kind of in the middle of the site. Everything from Jeff Davis runs back that way. It runs back on the current property, so it just makes good sense to put it where we designed it.
Is there anyone else who would like, would like to speak on this matter? Not, I'm going to bring it back to the dais. Ms. Felton, come on.
Don't mean to cast aspersions on the
Oh.
developer, but I spent years on the council, 16 years on planning commission, and I've learned one thing. Best intentions are et cetera, et cetera. I would like to see that in writing, official. And
Thank you, Mr. Felton.
thank you.
Anyone else? Again, ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear all points of view before we make a decision. At this time, council members, bring it back to the Diaz. Your pleasure with this?
We have someone, Mayor.
Late decision.
No problem.
Hey, my name's Daryl Dyke. I'm actually the board chair for the Fayette Pregnancy Resource Center. And I just wanted to clarify something about coming into the property. When we see that cut-in right there, that was cleared out simply for the staff to have the ability to go and park. Because we've expanded services such that we don't have enough room to park. And we were paying $250 a month to the neighbor to park there. So that agreement is what was canceled at the end of December for last year. We do not have an easement. There is no easement on this property. So that's what I wanted to be very clear about. And, yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Last call. Anyone else want to speak on this item? Okay, bringing it back to the Diaz. Council members, what is your pleasure?
Request to deny the rezoning for ordinance number 26-0-15.
Properly moved and seconded to deny the request to rezone 15 North Jeff Davis Drive for the Pregnancy Resource Center. At this time, is there any unreadiness before vote? Call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody object? And those who abstain. Okay, acknowledge it. So we can have it on the record. Okay. Councilman Langford?
Oh, I was, aye.
It was an aye. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this ordinance request is denied, 3-2 vote. At this time, we're moving on to reports and comments. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. A few items tonight. Wednesday, March 25th, we have the drive-through coffee with a cop from 7 to 9 a.m., and that'll be at the police station. And Tuesday, March 31st, we're going to have at 6 p.m., we're going to have our next mental health webinar. Topic's going to be teens, stress, and screens, what works. So please join us for that. And Tuesday, March the 31st at 6 p.m., we're going to have a town hall meeting for the project at the corner of Lester and 54, known as the Watkins Development. So please join us. We'll make a presentation and open it up for public comment during that process. And that's it, Mayor.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Council members, anyone have anything that you want to report? Seeing and hearing nothing. This time, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to open it up for public comments. This is an opportunity for you, the rest of the city council members. We ask that you be considerate and come to the podium, give us your name, your address, and please be considerate. Try to get what you have to say within 3 minutes. And if you have someone who come ahead of you and spoke on the same subject, saying the same thing, we ask you to please be considerate, not repeat. At this time, the floor is open.
Hi, Jesse Brooks, 730 Becky Court again. Just a general comment. I just wanted to thank the mayor, city council, and our planning and zoning commission for all the work y'all been doing this month. I know a lot of folks were very happy about the changes to the UDO and the new moratorium. It feels very like we're taking kind of a thoughtful approach to how we grow. And I grew up here in Fayetteville and been really excited about all the growth and very excited to see that change. So just wanted to say y'all are doing a great job. Also wanted to say thank you to Ms. Simon as well as Ms. Gilbert and Ms. Brown in our Planning and Zoning office. I probably sent them about 1,000 questions over the past few months, and they've always been very helpful and communicative, so wanted to say thanks to y'all. And I had one quick question for Mr. Jogstetter, if possible, and I apologize if I've mispronounced his last name. I'm not good with names. I was wondering if there have been any developments that you're able to share with the HFG development lawsuit in the past couple months.
I'll make a comment on that. We're in the process of the property.
Thank you very much.
The 30 acres.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your compliments as well. Okay. We work real hard, ladies and gentlemen, making sure that we hear the citizens and try to make adjustments as much as possible to satisfy the majority's needs. We cannot satisfy all the people all the time, and we try to do our best. And we heard the outcry for the Ginger Creek project, and the staff and the city council worked diligently and made a decision that we will buy so we can control it. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, sir? Mr. Bonner?
Hi, Jonathan Bonner, 220 Pepperdine Way. I just want to say, same sentiments. Thank you guys for what you guys do. You guys are a very, very active council group, going from other cities and counties. A lot of them aren't like you guys, so keep it up. I know you guys can't make everyone happy, but again, transparency, be front, and just tell people, and you guys have been doing that, so thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, I have dinner at, in all honesty, ladies and gentlemen, we really appreciate you being here tonight. You being here says that you're concerned or you're interested in what's going on, and I assure you, this council and this staff listens. So thank you very much. As you can tell by the moratoriums we've just established, that we hear what you say, and we try to respond legally to the best of our ability, okay? Since we have no executive session, you were coming to dinner with me? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing else coming before the council at this time. I will entertain a motion that we adjourn. So moved. Properly moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening and a wonderful weekend.